So Cole Pickens went ahead and whiter than sour cream. Sorry. Anyway, Cole Pickens talked about contract negotiations with the Bengals in the 1990s. And to say it was not the greatest experience is kind of an understatement. Now, obviously, went through the 90s. 90s, the worst time in Bengals history. Oh, man, it was bad. I did a draft video last year talking about the 90s. If you've not checked it out, check it out. It's a really bad time. It was a really bad time during that time. Anyway, he says it was hard because it was free agency at that time, and you're watching the news and seeing other guys get signed, Pickens told BengalsTalk.com. On one hand, you know you're going to get signed, but on the other hand, you're like, all right, if I don't get signed, are they going to release me? Am I going to be a free agent? Are they going to tag me? I don't want to get mixed up in that. I don't think any player really does, especially if you're not going to get cut before free agency starts. I feel like it's the worst position you could ever be in. And we were about to do that to Joe Mixon, if you remember. Before we traded him to the Texans, we were going to release him. And we didn't release him in the beginning of free agency. We were going to release him halfway through free agency after everyone got paid, which would have been a mess. But then we traded him, so it worked out in the end. He says, you're an athlete. You want to know that this is my livelihood here. What's going to happen? And again, you see news, Herman Moore signs, Tim Brown signs, Michael Irvin signs. So it's like, man, what is going on here? What is the deal? For some reason, I don't know this with any other team, but it always takes a while to get it done with the Browns for whatever reason. I think he meant the Bengals. I think he meant the Bengals, not the Browns. It's not real quick, though. A lot of back and forth, and you really have to be patient when you're dealing with management. Some teams are faster. Yeah. What I'll say about what I've learned about the negotiations of the Bengals, because with the DJ Reader situation, we really didn't offer him a contract until the very end of the free agency cycle before he got signed to the Lions, obviously. We offer like one deal, and then you come back and you say, no, I want this much, or I want this much. And we kind of just ghost you. Like, we give you a deal, and then we just ghost you the rest of the time. And then right before you're about to sign with somebody else or potentially get released, then we kind of talk to you a little bit more. But it doesn't seem like it's not a negotiation situation for the week. You really got to just go through hell and back to deal with the Bengals when it comes to negotiating. As I've said many times, the front office is awful at negotiating. Absolutely awful. And yeah, even in the 90s, not even still a situation that is still true to this day, 35 years later. 3 days before the 1990 season opener, the 2 days after Pickens vowed never to play for the Bengals again, the two sides agreed to a 5-year deal worth $23 million, making him the highest paid receiver at the time. Yeah, that's kind of how the Bengals is. They destroy relationships with you, and then they bring them right back. And then it's like, what do I take away from this situation? And just be happy, because now you're a Bengal and you just got paid. You just had to go through the torment of dealing with the back and forth forever for really no good reason sometimes. I feel like they do it because it's fun to them. In a low key, it's like fun. It's like a game. Like they're like, oh, let's go back and forth, see how many times we can do this. To lose 10 games in a row, it's hard to go to work. Yeah, see, this is another reason why, like, people are like, oh, T. Higgins, got underpaid. The Bengals ripped off T. Higgins. If T. Higgins hit the free agent market, where would he go? To the worst teams with the most money. He'd probably go to the Patriots. Patriots are not going to win 7 games this year. They're not going to win 6 games this year. They're probably going to win 5. He could go to the Brownies. The Brownies are not going to be a good team. He could have went to the Giants. The Giants are not going to be a good team. Like, when you hit the open market, and yes, you're going to get paid big boy money, you're probably not going to a Super Bowl contender, because Super Bowl contenders can't afford to pay you ridiculous money. So you're going to go to a team that's bad, who probably doesn't have a good quarterback, or maybe not a quarterback at all, and they're going to pay you stupid money because they aren't paying anyone else stupid money. So you're not going to a good team. That's what everyone needs to realize when you hit the free agent market. If you want to be on a good team and you're coming from a good team, you're not going to go to a good team. You're going to go to a crappy team. But T. Higgins decided he wanted to stay with a good team. He says, we switched sides of the ball. Instead of staying in a hotel that night before the game, we got to go home, and that didn't work. We tried a lot, unannounced to the public. We tried to wear road uniforms at home, but that didn't work. We walked through the kickoff coverage, but that didn't work. We tried everything. I don't know if it was karma or bad timing. We could never. And we had good players. I look back at it now. You can have good players, but you need playmakers. We just didn't have enough playmakers. It's a little bit of everything. Playmakers, coaching, everything. If we didn't win the coin toss, that was it. You could see at the games, we would cheer if we won, and if we lost, we were like, oh crap, lost the coin toss again. I made a whole entire docu-series on the 90s, and it's just depressing. It was just honestly depressing. You couldn't give tickets away. It was just bad times. They don't want to watch the product, and they have the right not to, because they're paying, and they want to see a good product in the field. 4 or 5 years into it, it sent a message. And isn't that also like when Bengals fans would like wear paper bags and stuff? Yeah, it wasn't a good time. It really wasn't. And across the board, I'm sure it also was not really that great with Mike Brown, because at that time in the 90s, Mike Brown had a lot more control. Nowadays, he has like no control, but it's more just Duke Tobin and Katie Blackburn. But back in the 90s, he had a lot of control. And that's not good. That was not a good situation, because he could be as cheap as he wanted to be. And well, that's kind of what we found ourselves in, was in a very cheap situation over and over again. But at the end of the day, this offseason, we did the opposite of what the Bengals normally do. We paid T, we paid Chase, we still got paid Trey, but we paid Mike Gesicki, and we're moving in the correct direction, and that's the most important thing in all this. Hoo-day, boys. Hoo-day.